So today I ended up going to the ER at the VA hospital. I had 3 episodes now of partial temporary blindness. This is something new that has started up this month. The first time, I'm going to try to describe this. You have your eyeball here. The first time it occurred to me, it was almost like a smear. It's kind of like when you put a sample on a slide, a microscope slide, and then you put the glass on top, and then all of a sudden it smears. It just smears out, right? It started off at the bottom, but eventually it started smearing down to the bottom left corner of my eye. And it occupied about 1/4 field of vision, more towards the left side. Now, after about 10-15 minutes, it started to retract and go away. About 10 days ago, I had another episode again. Now, this time, it had started off at the right corner, right end, and it occupied about 1/3 of my field of vision. Now, the one thing I noticed that time was, you know how you look at a HD TV and the reception's poor on the TV and it starts to pixelate. The pixel, you see the square little pixels in there. That's exactly what I was seeing. It was like I was trying to watch a TV or whatever, and I kept on getting these little square lights popping on the right hand side. Okay, so after about 10 to 15 minutes, that also went away. Well, I went into the Gulf War Illness, one of the Gulf War Illness forum, one of the groups, and asked them about that, if anybody experienced this before. And one of the concerns was, of course, this was a offset. This is something prior to a stroke or MS, right? So I'm starting to get a little bit worried, like, okay, I need to get checked out. So I called my PCP, local VA PCP, to try to schedule an appointment. They couldn't get me in until November the 5th, so I went ahead and drove all the way to the ER at the regional hospital. As I was driving over there, it hit me the 3rd time today again. And explained, went through, they did all kinds of blood tests, did an fMRI, everything so far. They're still waiting on some blood tests to come back. But so far the MRI and all the other blood work that they received today came back inconclusive, right? Now, here's the kicker about my visit to the regional office over there. This is the kind of crap that us Gulf War veterans are dealing with. The doctor that was over there had actually informed me that there was no such thing as Gulf War illness. Okay? I suffer from fibromyalgia. That has been confirmed. That has already been confirmed by the RIS Center, the War-Related Illness, Injury and Illness Research Center in Washington, D.C. That was confirmed. It was also confirmed by civilian rheumatologists. IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. That was confirmed by the RIS Center in Washington, D.C. And it was also confirmed by a gastroenterologist here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, these 2 conditions are presumptives to Gulf War illness. So, when the doctor tells me that there was no such thing as Gulf War illness, and informed me that all the tests were inconclusive, etc. And then proceeded to tell me that he was going to recommend psychological evaluation. That's when I was like, time out. This is what I pointed out to him. I said, number one, Gulf War illness is real. And I know this because for many years I have been trying to figure out what the heck is going on with me, that I have been going through so many doctors and nobody could give me answers as towards why I'm getting sick, why am I in pain, why am I having stomach issues, digestive issues, right? I researched it myself. And this is what I'm going to tell you. This is some of the things I pointed out to him. I asked him, okay, number one, how much do you know about the research? I pointed out to the research in Georgetown University, the research that was recently published about the damage to the mitochondria in Gulf War veterans, we talked about that. I said, okay, my point is this. How can you conclude, right, that there's no such thing if you have not been involved in the research and you have not looked at the research? You have not read the papers, you have not read the report, etc. So how can you say something's not real without looking at the evidence, right? We got into a little heated debate. I basically told him, I said, look, I'm a very analytical person. I'm a very logical person. I believe in math and science. You have the right to believe that Gulf War illness is bullshit. You have that right. But don't sit here condescending me. Don't sit here trying to shoot me down and tell me that it's a mental condition when I know more than you about the subject matter. One thing I have learned in dealing with Gulf War illness is that just because a doctor has a title, is an MD, they do not know everything. You know, once you receive your diploma as a doctor, that does not mean you know every aspect when it comes to the science of medicine. No. And a perfect example of that, think about it. If you have a general care, a general family doctor, general practitioner, you go over there for the flu, whatever, right? They're going to treat you there. Now, if you go over there with some kind of specialty ailment, such as, let's say, let's take ALS. Do you think your PCP is going to be able to treat that, diagnose it, and treat it? No. Why do they always refer you back over to a specialist? Why? Because that's beyond their realm of knowledge. That's something that is so specialized that you have to go to a different individual. When the doctor tells me that something like that is not real, I tell them, look, you know what? You could look up the reports, the Research Advisory Committee, right on the va.gov website. Google search it. Research Advisory Committee. They take every year, whenever they have the meetings, all the reports, all the research, everything gets posted on there. All the research done in Georgetown University, all the research done with anything that has to do with Gulf War illness and the treatment and etc. is posted on the website. So if you have questions about it, you know, don't sit there saying that it's not real unless you looked at the papers. I got defensive with him because of the fact that he tried to tell me it was a mental condition. And you know what? I'm so used to it. I'm so used to going to doctors, especially VA doctors. There's so many VA doctors that still have the mentality of it's a psychosomatic issue. You know what? Whenever I hear that crap, I so want to slap the crap out of them. I want to bitch slap them and maybe knock the stupid out of them. Because I'm going to tell you this. Making a statement like that and not knowing is due to pure ignorance. You don't have the knowledge, so you're ignorant. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means you're ignorant to the facts. However, if I take and I present you the material, I show you the way to read the research, look at the material, look at the case studies, and so forth, and you don't do it, and you still make the assumption that it is not a real health problem, then you now, instead of being ignorant, you become stupid. Because you have locked your mind onto what you believe is real. You know, you believe this so intensely that you're not willing to think outside of the scope, outside of the parameter, and absorb new knowledge. And that's one thing I'm going to tell you. When it comes to new knowledge, I don't care if you're a doctor. I was a network engineer. And I can tell you right now, even as a doctor, you have a network engineer, this is me here, that's the doctor over there. If you don't keep up every year with the knowledge, new research, new knowledge coming in, guess what? You're stuck in history. You're stuck in the ages of the world is flat. Same thing as a network engineer. If you learn, as a network engineer, I was taught to operate a certain way. However, every year we were required at a minimum to take 40 hours worth of classes. Why? Because every single year there's new technology. Every single year there's new knowledge. Every single year you have to advance and adapt to what is coming. If you don't, guess what? You get cut. They have no need for you. You're still trying to operate on analog while the world is operating on digital. They have no need for you. Same thing here. If you're still practicing 1800th century medicine and you're not willing to accept new knowledge, read new materials, learn more, right? Guess what? You're back in the voodoo ages, you know, where they had witch doctors and chanting and all that stuff. So you're obsolete. In essence, to all the people out there that want to argue with me about Gulf War illness, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm the wrong individual for you to try to debate Gulf War illness being a mental condition. If you insist on it is a mental condition, my suggestion, Google it. Go search it, go Google it, look up the research, and learn. Look for Research Advisory Committee. They have tons and tons of information on there. And if you go to my veteran advocacy page, I have in the About section of my advocacy page, there's tons of links to information related to Gulf War illness. So, you know, if you want to continue to believe that Gulf War illness is not real, by all means, you know, I don't care. I don't have to convince you. You're not my daddy. You're not God. You're not, you know, I don't have to convince you. Go ahead. You have the right to believe whatever. However, Gulf War illness is real, and I know it. And I know so. I don't think so. I don't have faith so. Research data is there and has proven it several times over that Gulf War illness is real. You're not willing to accept it? Not my problem. Have a happy life.